The piercing wail of sirens slicing through the cold Chicago night is a sound this city knows all too well. It's a grim lullaby that speaks of tragedy, of loss, of moments that change lives in the blink of an eye. But for the men and women of Firehouse 51, it's the soundtrack of their lives, a constant reminder of the thin line they walk between hope and despair. Today, that line has been irrevocably blurred, as a series of devastating events has sent shockwaves through the heart of our beloved firehouse, leaving a trail of heartbreak and uncertainty in its wake. It was a fire that seemed to breathe, a ravenous beast consuming a South Side apartment building with an insatiable hunger. The smoke, a thick, acrid shroud, choked the sky, a dark omen of the sorrow to come. Inside, the heroes of 51 battled the inferno, their every instinct screaming in the face of danger. But it was after the flames were tamed, amidst the smoldering ruins and the stench of devastation, that the true extent of the day's tragedy began to unfold. For Lieutenant Stella Kidd, the call had been a brutal reminder of life's fragility. The image of a soot-stained teddy bear, abandoned in a hallway, had struck a chord deep within her, a painful echo of a loss that was still a raw, open wound. It has been weeks since the quiet heartbreak of her miscarriage, a silent sorrow she and her husband, Kelly Severide, have navigated in the hushed corners of their lives. The dream of a family, a dream they had so cautiously allowed themselves to embrace, had been snatched away, leaving an ache that no amount of bravery could extinguish. Their grief, a heavy cloak they wore in the solitude of their apartment, was their shared secret. To the world, they were the unshakable pillars of Firehouse 51. But behind closed doors, they were just two people grappling with a pain that had no name, a future that felt terrifyingly uncertain. It was into this fragile landscape that a new life, a new challenge, had arrived. Isaiah, a teenager with a world of hurt in his eyes, had become their foster son. He was a boy teetering on the precipice of manhood, his own life a testament to the cruelty of circumstance. Stella, a woman who had always known how to fight, how to lead, now found herself in uncharted territory. How do you mother a child who isn't yours when the one you yearned for is gone? Her heart, a muscle trained for courage, now felt like a traitor in her chest. Every attempt to connect with Isaiah felt like a misstep, a painful reminder of her own inadequacy. The silence in their home was a language she couldn't understand, a chasm that seemed to widen with each passing day. But the city, in its relentless rhythm of life and death, had another cruel twist of fate in store. A frantic call, a baby in distress, sent paramedics Sylvie Brett and Violet Mikami racing against time. The details were sparse, a chilling litany of symptoms that spoke of a life hanging in the balance. The sterile, unforgiving light of the hospital waiting room became the backdrop for the next chapter of 51's grief. It was a place where hope and despair danced a macabre tango, where the beep of a monitor could be both a lifeline and a death knell. As news of the baby's fight for life filtered through the firehouse, a collective breath was held. For Stella, the news was a gut punch, a cruel mirror to her own loss. In a quiet corner of the hospital, another drama was unfolding, one that would ripple through the very foundations of their firehouse family. Chief Wallace Bowden stood a silent vigil, his face a mask of stoicism that could not conceal the turmoil in his eyes. It wasn't a fire that had brought him to this place of sterile sorrow, but a battle of a different kind, one fought in the hushed tones of doctors and the relentless hum of machines. The whispers that spread through the firehouse were of a sudden illness, a life hanging precariously in the balance. The details remained shrouded in privacy, but the fear was palpable. The thought of losing their leader, their anchor in the storm, was a prospect too devastating to comprehend. The hospital, a place of healing, now felt like a harbinger of doom. As the hours stretched into an eternity, the weight of the day pressed down on Firehouse 51. The acrid smell of smoke that clung to their gear was a physical manifestation of the emotional residue that had settled in their souls. They were a family forged in fire, a bond tempered in the crucible of shared trauma. But even the strongest bonds can be tested. Even the bravest hearts can break. For Stella Kidd, the day had been a journey into the heart of her own grief. The sick child, the specter of death in the hospital corridors, had forced her to confront the raw, untamed sorrow she had tried so desperately to keep at bay. As she stood in the doorway of Isaiah's room that night, watching the gentle rise and fall of his chest, a profound realization washed over her.